Despicable Me 4, and I'm going to talk about it. There might be some spoilers in this video, so click off if you haven't already watched the movie. But anyway, the characters' ages in these movies doesn't make sense. I think I've now seen Gru as a kid in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't care that the characters haven't aged. I don't know how much time has passed in between the first and fourth movie, and I don't care. Cartoon characters don't age. That's just a thing. And so, in this movie, Gru goes to what apparently was an old villain school that he outside of the villain school, and I thought it looked like Hotel Transylvania. But anyway, there's like this guy that apparently Gru used to go to school with, and it's actually kind of funny. But like, for some reason, this guy is like, and spoiler alert, okay, this guy is like obsessed with cockroaches. And honestly, why does anyone like him? Like, I get this feeling that people used to not like him, but now he's like invincible. And I'm like, he's really invincible. Like, by the end of the movie, he's gonna get like trampled by the super minions, and he's somehow still alive. And that's just okay. So, like, okay, so they locked this guy up, but apparently the AVL aren't actually that good at their jobs, and you know what, that makes sense. Guards in prisons typically aren't very good at their jobs in kids shows and movies. But anyway, so now the family has to like go live in this new neighborhood and take on new identities because the villain knows where they live. And I find that funny that of course everyone knows where Gru lives. He has like a big black house in a pretty normal looking neighborhood. Why can't Agnes take Lucky with her? It's like, it doesn't seem like there was a reason for that. Was there actually a reason for that?
The girls don't really do much in this movie.
Instead, there's this new girl that Gru takes on a heist, and she wants to be a villain. I don't know what Gru is supposed to do about that. I mean, and anyway, like, she blackmails him, and it's like, she knew who Gru was because, like, she looked him up on the internet or something. I assume that's it. Like, I guess the villains have like a top secret network or something, but like, how is this girl just able to know about the villain stuff? Like, I don't know. They had a top secret network on television that could just be accessed by banging on TV. I mean, nothing about villains in these movies has ever made sense. Don't take a baby on a heist. Like, don't. Was everyone else just busy that day? Like, it was nighttime. I don't know why anyone else would have been busy that night. Don't know why the baby went on the heist. In the movie where the girl implies that Gru was around 12 at the end of the first Minions movie, which was in 1968. And he says he was younger than that. And of course nothing makes sense because the rise of Gru takes place 10 years after Minions. So like, at best, I'm willing to assume that if Gru is like 12 in the rise of Gru, which is kind of the only thing that makes sense, but maybe he would have been like 2 at the end of the Minions. Unless he was like 4 at the end of the Minions, but then he would be like 14 or 15, which doesn't add up either. Didn't they do that in the X-Men movies where they kept jumping decades? Spoiler alert, but at the end of the movie, we see all the villains from the previous movies in jail. And of course, we see the villains from the 60s and 70s in jail. And I'm thinking to myself, how old are they supposed to be? Like, I don't know what year the present day of Despicable Me 4 is meant to be. So I can't say for sure, but I still think when I was looking at them, they looked younger than I thought that they would probably be in the present day. Like, I think they still look pretty young. Like, I think Scarlet Overkill is supposed to be like 90 something in the present day. And she didn't look 90 something. Okay, I think it's just a thing in these movies that the characters age 10 years slower than people in the real world.
Oh, and the Minions probably actually got a bunch of people killed. You know, it did occur to me that there are a bunch of supervillains in the Despicable Me universe and no superheroes. Like, I'm surprised the AVL didn't do something like this sooner. Also, this guy is out of retirement, and he has not aged a day since the 70s. He was in The Rise of Gru, and he looked the same age as he does now. What's going on? That must have been a short retirement. If it weren't for Drew and Lucky, I could probably just pretend that Despicable Me 3 didn't happen.